Corset outfits are currently trending, and I cannot even blame fashion designers for sticking to this trend. These outfits are usually incredibly stunning and just regal in their outlook. In today's video, I'm going to be showing us how to create covered breast cups that make up for most of these corset outfits that we see online these days. In this video, I'm going to be sharing how to create pleated covering for a breast cup, how to transform a regular breast cup into something that looks like what we have here on the screen. I'm also going to come up with another part where I show you how to accessorize this breast cup. If you'd be interested in knowing all about this, please watch this video to the end, subscribe if you're not subscribed, like the video if you enjoy watching, and feel free to share with a friend. To make your customized breast cup, you need your ready-made breast cup, you need a piece of fabric. I'm working with bridal satin. You need a scissors for cutting. You also need your tape rule for taking measurements, as well as your tailoring chalk and ruler. The first thing I'm going to start off doing is to measure the top and bottom area of my breast cup. The top portion was about 8 inches thereabouts. I'm going to show us what the end result was. It was like 7.9 inches, and the bottom brim was about 12 inches. What I did there was just show us the area that I'm measuring, and this is me also illustrating the way I'm taking the measurements. At the end of the day, I got about 12 inches like I said earlier. These ready-made breast cups usually come in different sizes. I wasn't really particular about the size that I bought. I just picked up one and I got it from Mr. Okoro in Morning Market. I'm also going to measure the top to bottom measurement of this particular breast cup, and like you guys saw there, it was about 6.5 inches. I'm marking the midpoint of the top and bottom, and you guys are going to see the reason why I'm taking these measurements. I went ahead to just notch these points so as to just remember where they are while I'm attaching the fabric that I'm going to be using to cover up this breast cup. What I just pointed out is the midpoint that I just notched, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my piece of fabric, and I'm also going to fold the fabric that I'm using into two in order to get the midpoint of the fabric that I cut out. This fabric was about 28 inches long. Like you guys can see, it's on fold currently, and I went ahead to just notch the midpoint and attach the midpoint of the fabric to the midpoint of the breast cup that I notched earlier on. Just in case my explanation isn't cutting it for you, look at what I'm doing and replicate it on your own work. I went ahead to pin down the midpoints of both items, the breast cup and the fabric. I went ahead to pin their midpoints to each other, and this is the pin that I'm working with. The next thing I'll be doing is to be pleating them gently. With the pleats, I cannot really explain, but please watch the way I'm folding my fabric and creating my pleats, and go ahead to replicate it on your own work. If after watching any part of this video you still have questions for me, please feel free to drop your questions in the comment section as usual, and I'll be more than happy to respond to you. If you've not liked the video, now is a good time to hit that thumbs up button so I know that you guys got value from watching this video. Also remember to subscribe if you're yet to subscribe, and share this video with a friend. Alright guys, so this is what we have here. This is what the corset looks like after pinning it. I said corset, this is what the fold or pleats now looks like on the breast cup after pleating. So I'm just going to cut off all this excess fabric using my scissors. I'm not going to cut too close to the breast cup, just cutting a little bit far away, just so I have enough fabric to play around with while sewing. Why don't I know how to cut?
For this type of work, you can use any fabric you like. I'm using bridal satin. You can use your Mikado, you can use your Duchess, you can use cotton, you can use lace, honestly anything. For people that are new to sewing, I have a whole video where I talk about fabrics. So if you don't really know much about fabric, you should totally watch that video. So it helps you know fabrics and their names. So what I'm going to do now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and then sew as close to the edge of this breast cup as possible. It will take patience, okay? So when sewing, just take your time and sew all around. And then when I'm done sewing, I'll come back to show us what it looks like. Please note that when sewing, use a matching color of thread. I would not use a black thread to sew this. I will not use a green thread to sew this. I'm going to look for a matching color of blue thread to go with what I have here. So I just thought to point that out for us while making something like this. All right, friends, so this is what we have here after I went ahead to sew. This is the inner part and this is the outer part. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to line this breast cup before I go ahead to bead it and make it into something really, really cute. And for the sake of lining, you can use a lining fabric, okay, if you have one. But because I don't have a matching lining fabric for this particular breast cup, I'm going to use the leftover satin material that I have to also line the breast cup, just to cover up this inner part so everything looks beautiful. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to first of all determine the quantity of fabric that I need, and I'm just going to grab my tape rule and then measure the widest part of my breast cup. So this is about 8 inches thereabout. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to divide 8 inches by 2, which is going to give me 4 inches. And then I'm going to add 1 inch to my 4 inches. So that's going to give me about 5 inches. The next thing I'm going to do now is to cut a circle, a full circle. For people that are new here and you don't know how to cut a full circle, I have a tutorial on how to cut circles. I'm going to try and link it on the screen. Feel free to go check it out. But I'm just going to grab this, my satin material. The little one I had before is not going to be enough, so I'm just going to fold into a cute little 4-corner kind of situation. So after cutting my circle, in order to just give this lining like this whole like hollowish kind of look, you know the way your breast cup is, it's kind of hollow at the center. To give this lining that same effect, you are going to come down at the edge of your, so this is a full circle, right? I folded it, let me move it backwards. So this is a full circle. I folded it into 2 to give us this half circle kind of situation. So you want to now come down by 1 inch on both sides of this half circle situation that we have going on. First of all, mark the center of your 5 inches. So this half circle is 10 inches long, the center is 5 inches. You mark it here and then come down by 1 inch at the 2 sides. The next thing we are going to do is to connect these 2 points here. Let me look for a different color of chalk so that you guys see what I'm doing. So this is 1 inch here. I hope we can see on camera. Let me zoom in. I'm using a pink chalk now and then mark my second 1 inch here. And then this is my 5 inches mark here. So I'm going to grab my ruler real quick and then connect these 2 lines to each other. Like so. So now that I have this kind of situation going on here, I'm just going to take this to my sewing machine and then run a stitch on these lines that I've marked out here, and then I'll come back to show us what we have. All right guys, so this is what I have after sewing. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up. We see that it's already even forming that hollow kind of situation that I'm talking about at this point here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to my ironing board and press this very, very well before we now use it to turn this our breast cup situation that we have here. So the next thing we are going to do after ironing is we are going to place this breast cup right sides facing each other. This is the right side of my lining. I'm going to just place it somewhere here and then run a stitch around this portion here. All right, once that is done, I'm going to come back and show us what is done. So you want to try and move this breast cup upwards a little. You want to have more fabric at this bottom than at the top, okay? So what I have here is enough. Make sure that you have more fabric going on at the bottom of your breast cup. This is it after sewing. The next thing I'm going to do is to cut off this excess fabric at the top here, and then flip this inwards. This way our breast cup looks neat and put together. The next thing you're going to do is to grab this your bust ball. Let me zoom out a bit for us, and then take this to your ironing board and give this a very good press. For a better finish, I would advise that you grab your hemming gum. This is what your hemming gum looks like, and then put just a little tape in here. Okay, just place it at this point here, place it here, somewhere here, before flipping your lining over to iron. This way this place laps very well and it stays flat. All right, everything I'm explaining here, replicate it on your work and you'll see that you get the same result. So you just put your hemming glue here and then flip this over and then iron. You can also take it a step further and put more hemming gum here and iron this entire place properly using this your bust ball. This bust ball is very important. A fashion designer cannot do without this, especially if you want to make awesome bustier dresses and bespoke blouses. Basically, this bust ball is going to really make your work look incredibly beautiful. So I'm going to take this to my ironing board, do everything I just said now, and then I'll come back to show us what it all looks like. All right friends, so this is what we have now, and this is what the inner part looks like. We are having this like bubbly kind of thing because I probably didn't place my hemming gum well. So when doing yours, make sure you place it well while ironing and make yours look better than mine. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to sew this bottom again onto this lining piece, because if we leave it like this and attach it to our whatever thing you want to attach it to, most likely a dress, it's not going to give, right? So you want to sew this breast cup onto this lining so they become one. So I'm just going to take this to my sewing machine one more time and then run a stitch. I'll try my best to run my stitch on top of this previous stitch here, so just so it looks really neat. So I'm going to do that real quick and then I'll show us the final result of this cute little covered breast cup that we are working on. All right friends, so this is what the breast cup looks like. All right, so it's something that can be done, especially for my people that like all these corset outfits and all of that. You can transform something that looks just bare and basic like this into something absolutely stunning like this in very simple steps. I hope you all enjoyed this particular tutorial. If you did, please give me a big fat thumbs up. Okay, that way I'm able to know that you guys enjoyed watching and I'm able to also come back with more insightful tutorials, something like what you just watched. Also feel free to share with someone that you think will enjoy this type of content. Sharing is caring. Subscribe if you're yet to subscribe. Like this video. I think I've said that already. Thank you guys so much again for watching, and yeah, I can't wait to see you in another tutorial very soon. Bye.